Beginning in around 730 before Christ, town life in Greece grew, as did overseas trade and agricultural production, all triggered in part by the rising power of the Assyrian Empire and its appetite for imported luxuries. These towns grew into powerful city-states with Athens, Sparta, Corinth, and Thebes emerging as the most dominant during Greece's Archaic period, lasting from 650 to 480 BC. Often at war, these city-states met every 4 years at the prestigious sporting event, the Olympic Games. Increased trade led to a flexible writing system by adapting and improving the Phoenician alphabet and widespread literacy. The archaic periods of Greece also saw the creation of Homer's epic poems, the Iliad and the Odyssey, the development of Pythagoras' mathematical theory, and the establishment of Greek colonies and trading centers as far away as Egypt, Byzantium, Italy, and Spain. Classical Greece, lasting from 480 to 433 before Christ, is known as the greatest age of Greek history. Consisting of several hundred city-states, it was ruled from the most powerful Athens. During this period, the Greeks repulsed various attempts to annex their land, most famously at the Battle of Marathon in 490 BC. In fact, the king of Persia, Cyrus II the Great, invaded Ionian Greek cities in 547 before Christ. From 500 before Christ, the Ionian Greek settlements rebelled, and in 490 before Christ, King Darius sent an army to Athens to punish the Athenians for aiding the rebels. He suppressed them, but was later beaten in the famous Battle of Marathon, which sparked the Persian Wars between Greece and Persia. The Parthenon was built in Athens in celebration. Democracy rose for the first time in Athens after a long period of social and political tensions, marked by conflicts among nobles. Political forms of power were once restricted to elites, such as speaking in the assembly and having their votes counted. So, in the bid to avoid tyrannical rule by local rich landowners, the people of Athens established the world's first democracy so ordinary citizens could perform these political tasks. Women, slaves, children, or foreigners had equal rights, but these were denied full citizenship, so they were not eligible. Thus, only 10 to 15% of the citizens were then eligible citizens, which made about 30,000 men who could attend the ecclesia, a general assembly meeting several times a month. In principle, any of the 6,000 citizens who showed up at each session had the right to address their fellow citizens, propose a law, or bring a public lawsuit. Of course, a crowd of 6,000 people trying to speak at the same time would not be effective for a government to properly function. So the Athenian system also relied on a 500-member governing council, called the Boulé, to set the agenda and evaluate proposals in addition to hundreds of jurors and magistrates to handle legal matters. Rather than being appointed or elected, the people in these positions were randomly chosen. The only positions filled by elections were those recognized as requiring expertise, such as generals, but they were considered aristocratic, meaning ruled by the best, as opposed to democracy, ruled by the many. From 431 to 404 before Christ, the Athens-Sparta-Peloponnesian War happened because of the unwillingness of Sparta to let Athens to expand its emerging empire. The war ended with Sparta the dominant force in the region, while the city-state of Athens never regained its former prosperity. In 411 before Christ, Athenian democracy was overthrown. The city-state reappeared in 395 before Christ, but was definitively conquered in 338 before Christ by the League of Corinth, which was under the rule of Macedonia. The cultural and scientific achievements of ancient Greece would spread across a vast empire and profoundly influence the Roman Empire as well as Western civilization.